It's going to be another hot and humid day with temperatures climbing into the low 90s, and the heat index could be as high as 100 degrees. Now, there will be the chance of a few spotty showers this afternoon, but most of us stay dry tonight. Overnight lows in the low to mid 70s with partly cloudy skies. And this weekend, highs will be in the 90s both Saturday and Sunday with only a slim chance of a passing shower. For the latest, download the Local 3 weather app. I'm Storm Alert meteorologist Clay Smith.
Your current Milligan Vein temperature is 90 degrees. MilliganVein.com.
What if a friend or a loved one was thinking about suicide? What would you say? What would you do? The Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network provides support. TSPN teaches how to spot warning signs of suicide, and we teach you how to do something. Go to tnprevention.org to learn how you can help with suicide prevention efforts. That's tnprevention.org, a public service announcement of the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network and this station.
Hip or knee pain holding you back? There's a new reason to feel hopeful. Dr. Andrew Carlone is now part of the team at Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics in Cleveland. He brings advanced training in total hip and knee replacement, including minimally invasive techniques that get you back on your feet faster. Let Cleveland's orthopedic experts help you live your best life. Call 423-624-2696 or go to sportmed.com to book your visit now.
You're listening to Paul Feinbaum on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. The ESPN Cleveland 101.3 lineup is supplied by Wholesale Supply Group. WholesaleSupply.us.
Define your tomorrow at Cleveland State Community College. Voted the #1 college in your county, Cleveland State has something for everyone: in-person, online, and hybrid classes. You can take your classes when, where, and how you want. Choose the option that's right for you. Apply now. To find out more about the programs Cleveland State has to offer, go to registration.clevelandstate.cc or call 423-473-2321. Fall semester is just around the corner, so don't wait. Define your tomorrow at Cleveland State.
Hey Cleveland, are you suffering from fatigue, low sex drive, or just not feeling like yourself? Optimize You is the answer that you have been looking for. Our team is here to listen and help you become the best version of yourself again. So find us online at OptimizeYouCenters.com. That's OptimizeYouCenters.com.
Hey, Andy Morris here. Join me along with my co-host on The Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no style. Got a thirst for killing. Live your mind.
Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. I am Andy Morris along with Jim Gum, as we like to call him, Dad Gum, and Jacob Slim Money Mason. And listen, Slim Money, you coming in here with a better tan every single day.
Hey, you know, I just enjoy the time by the pool. I'm savoring these last couple days of summer. You know, I'm enjoying myself, and you say Slim Money. I've been trying to do some workouts in the pool, so
Attaboy.
I've been swimming and trying to get some exercise. So, you know, killing two birds with one stone there, getting a nice little tan and getting a little exercise.
That's what I like to hear. And you say last couple days. Come on now, pump the brakes on that couple day stuff. We got a little bit. Got a little bit.
I've got trainings and stuff to get to. So.
Listen, that's
baseball tryouts.
Same stuff you've already been through.
Baseball tryouts are Monday, and then I've got to do trainings all next week. Meetings next week starts school for me.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Baseball tryouts. I did not know that. Wow.
Getting at it early.
I'll be honest. After COVID, we started doing them we did them early beforehand, but it made even more sense because it's so hard to get stuff in. It's so hard to get uniforms, and like you have to order way out in advance.
True.
And you think about it, when you're using Nike fills colleges then they go to high schools, and then they go
Now,
to middle
is there a
school.
conflict with the kids that are practicing football to go to baseball?
No,
tryouts?
normally they just it normally doesn't interfere, but if it does, coaches normally just say, "Hey, like go to tryouts."
good. I'm glad to hear that.
Working together. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, appreciate all of our listeners that may be streaming. Check out our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com. We've got the new app, mixtv.tv on YouTube. So many different ways that you can listen to our show. And, of course, right here on ESPN Cleveland 1013 FM. Glad to have you here with us today. I wanted to have some fun in this first segment. It's a Friday. Made it through a week. Been a tough week for some of us. Been a relaxing week for Slim Money Mason over here as he's been in the pool getting a suntan. But I want to talk about something kind of serious first, and then we're going to get really fun. But I see Jim over here. I see Jacob. And I don't know if you saw the email that has went out. Steve Hartline, owns our station, WCLE. In line with state law, we're no longer allowed to have our cell phones while we do the show.
You want to talk about poking the bear, dude? It's been cracking me up.
Of course, I'm kidding, and you can explain, Jacob, what's going on here.
There's a new state law, and both the city and the county are going to enforce cell phone policy. I know where I've been. There's been a cell phone policy like this in place. I just want to say this, in the nicest way possible. As a teacher, if you think I'm going around like the Grinch, like stealing your kids' phones because I think it's fun, and you don't think that I've given them 4 or 5 warnings and tried to be really kind about it, I promise you that's not how it is. It genuinely, like, we get it. Phones are necessary, but for classroom instruction, the state law has passed it, and we're state employees, so
got to follow the law.
We're going to follow the law. But just know that, like, I know a lot of parents out there are thinking, we're marching around the classroom like picking up phones and turning them in. Like, it's not going to happen. It's going to be go put it in your locker, and if you become a repeat offender, then your phone's getting turned in.
And there's a lot of mixed feelings on this, and I'm sure you've seen and heard this too, Jim.
Yeah.
But I'm one of the ones, I'm looking at it from a parent standpoint and an employee standpoint. I'm going to do my job. First of all, kids come to my room, they don't get to have their phones anyway. So if you have it, that's an issue number one, being in the discipline area of academics. But I will say this, as a parent, like, I get the frustrations. There's a lot of people you get on social media, there's some frustrations. And the one thing that I can say that is not my favorite is the fact that once there's consequences to actions, and I'm huge on reinforcement and following through and teaching lessons. The way I was raised, like, there's consequences. I don't like the fact that we got the fine stuff in place, and like, if it gets collected, parents need to just come get it. I think we should draw the line there. But again, I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do what I'm told. But I'm saying this because I understand the frustrations.
Well, it's so weird. Listen, I'm a lot older than you guys. Now, obviously, I grew up a good portion of my life, didn't have a phone. In fact, Jacob will remember this just a couple weeks, or last week, I took you home.
Yeah.
I left my phone here. I just forgot it. And I'm like, heck with it. I just left it here. I didn't get it till in the morning. I was fine. I was just fine. Well, I have a key. I could get in here. I could have gotten it. I said, heck with it. I'm not turning around and go back over there. I just went on to the house. And I was fine. Didn't have it all night. I'm not addicted. No, it's part of my job. I have to have a phone because I use my phone to call clients and customers. That's just the reality. But as far as just like when I'm home and I don't have to have my phone. Yeah, it's nice to keep up with scores of ball games and whatnot. It's nice. It's convenient. But it's not a necessity. But I understand some of these parents are about, well, if there's something going on, how do I get in touch with my kid? You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
I think we do need to break away from these things a little bit more than we do as a society in general. But again, as a parent, like, and every family situation is different. Like, some of these kids are responsible for when they leave school going and picking up their siblings. And Life 360, while they drive, if they get their phone taken, then there needs to be consequences. They can't drive. There's some single-parent households out there that can't function that way.
Okay, Can I ask you guys a question? are you guys allowed to have a phone in your room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are, and the kids aren't. So I guarantee you there's going to be kids that will say, well, it ain't fair. You got a phone. Well, listen, I'm a teacher. When you
Yeah.
get older, you become a teacher, guess what? You get to keep
Yeah.
the phone.
well, and I know for me, especially now, we have a security system for if something actually is
Sure.
going on at school, we have the ability to log where we are, log that we're safe, log that our classroom's safe.
Yes.
It sends out
Sure.
an alert, so like
It's a safety.
And it's a personal phone. It's not an issued by the school phone, right?
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. So here's the thing. If we could go back to the T9 days, I would be all for it. Hearing the clicking in your pockets and that all stuff. The iPhone, like, yes, I like checking scores, but dude, there's so many times where I'm like, give me a flip phone and just send me back to the simple days of life. But let's get into the more fun stuff.
Let's do it.
Okay. So earlier today, you sent me a clip about Saban.
Yeah.
Talking about getting back into coaching. He says that Miss Terry made him get the sweeper out, and that was the end of the conversation. I'm like, who calls it a sweeper?
You lost Jim's attention at that point.
It wasn't about the fact that Nick Saban was finally commenting on whether if he's coming back to coaching. We lost you at sweeper.
I'm
So
like, who
to
calls it a sweeper?
give our listeners some insight, there was a clip today. Nick Saban was on Fox News, and somebody asked him whether he's going to come back to coaching, and he said he has not thought about it once until earlier this week when Miss Terry yelled downstairs and told him to get the sweeper out and sweep the whole bottom floor. And he said that he used to have a much sweeter gig.
Yeah, the carpet.
Yeah, a much sweeter gig coaching than he does right now sweeping the floor. Which, when I think of a sweeper, I think of a broom.
I think I sweep the floor with a broom.
Yeah.
I vacuum the floor with a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Who calls it a sweeper on a rug? I don't understand.
Miss Terry does, and you better not be disrespecting her, Jim.
Miss Terry.
Listen, so that's one of those things too. Like, I know some people have different terminology for different things, and especially down here in our area, down here in the South.
Oh yeah,
we've got some twangy things that we throw out there. It's a normal thing, but like a sweeper, I'm with Jim. I never really. I think there might have been like a specific brand at one point that was called like Dust Sweeper, or something like that. But I've never really heard anyone refer to a vacuum as a sweeper.
Okay, you guys have all gone in the Midwest or up north, right? Maybe a little. You going into a restaurant, little server comes up to you. Do you want any pop?
No, I don't want pop.
Pop.
I would like a Coke, Jim.
And I say soft drink, and I'm in the minority. Most people either say soda or Coke around here. Nobody says pop here in the South.
Yeah, I've got a lot of
that's a real
family
northern
still up in Cleveland, Ohio, and they refer to it as pop. A lot of them say that. My grandmother used to say, "Hey, go in there and get you a pop." And
Now soda pop, I've heard that, but I rarely hear anyone say that. But down here, it's usually soda or Coke, like you say.
Yeah.
Now, I don't. I say soft drink because I'm not going to say I want a Coke, and then but I want a Dr. Pepper. Well, you said Coke. Wait a minute. A Coke is a Coke. A Pepsi's a Pepsi. A Dr. Pepper's Dr. Pepper. A Sprite's a Sprite. I'm not going to call a Sprite a Coke.
Yeah, but Jim, here's the thing. In the same way that you're calling it pop, like I'll be like, hey man, you want a Coke? What kind do you want?
I get that, and I know a lot of people around here do that. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I say soft drink.
Yeah.
I actually say the word soft drink.
I think soft drink is an acceptable term.
I actually say soda more often than any.
Yeah.
You call it a Coke. Okay. Now here's another one. The contraption that you put your groceries in at the grocery store.
It's a buggy.
I call it a shopping cart.
Yeah, it's a buggy.
I call it a grocery cart. Yeah.
Buggy.
You don't no. So you call it you used to call it a buggy or a shopping buggy?
No, just a buggy. Where's the buggy?
I always call it a shopping cart.
When I was younger, I think that I might have actually used the term buggy, and then in a conscious effort said like, I don't think that's what these are, and because I've always tried to speak clearly and appropriately, but
now, your nose you got a runny nose. I'm gonna say, hey, does anyone have a Kleenex? Do you say Kleenex or you say tissue?
I say tissue.
I say tissue, I think.
I say, hey, has anyone got a Kleenex? So we've got different.
I think I say both, honestly.
I don't think I ever say tissue.
Yeah,
I say, give me Kleenex.
I
need
think
Kleenex.
I'm pretty. I go through those allergy months in school, and so I'm pretty much. Hey, can you pass me a tissue? Would you mind going to get me a tissue?
And we don't realize how many of these are out there. There's so many of these out there, and I'm like, and we just kind of just take for granted. And usually you can figure it out. Now, I'm not going to make fun of someone if they say, like, I've had cousins come down here, and they say, hey, do you have any pop? I know what they mean. I just let it go.
Same
I don't
here.
Say, I don't
Same
say
here.
anything. I'm not going to say, we don't have pop down here. We have Coke.
Well, Jim just sounded like me. that was a good interpretation of me, Jim.
But
Good
it's
job.
so funny because you do have some people they get all tied, they get all upset if you don't talk the way they do. Listen,
hey, you want to talk about tie this back to sports and things that get some people all upset? Who's the real UT? Who's the real USC? All of those.
To me, USC is Southern California.
I agree.
Yeah, agree.
UT is Tennessee because we live here. Now, if I lived in Texas, I might call Texas UT. If you live up in Ohio, is it University of Toledo? That's the big one.
Yeah. Hey, honest to goodness, now that they're both in the same conference, I'm all for when these teams play.
Let them spat. Let them
let it be like the trophy that you get to call yourself
the real UT.
Like, you get to call yourself the real UT until you play again.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Which school plays in Death Valley?
Ooh. I'm gonna go Clemson.
That's what I think. I think whenever I hear Death Valley, I think of Clemson. I don't think of LSU. I for whatever the reason. And
maybe it's because we're closer to Clemson.
Yeah, and
maybe?
I know you've got some more insight on the history of that, Jim.
Right. Yeah.
Share that knowledge real quick.
All right. First off, Death Valley at Clemson, someone brought a rock from the real Death Valley in Death Valley, California, and they brought it to Clemson.
Howard's rock.
In fact, Howard used that rock. This is a good story. Howard used that rock to prop a door open for years. And he finally says, get that rock out of here. Well, somebody said, we're not getting that. It's a Death Valley rock. So somebody put it on at Memorial Stadium, and they said they started rubbing it when they ran. They run down the hill at Clemson, which, by the way, is one of the great traditions in college football. They refer to it as the most exciting 25 seconds in college football.
I still can't believe we've not seen a torn ACL, but that's just me.
Exactly.
It's not the most exciting. I can argue. Here's the thing. Even as like a non-Tennessee fan, them running out of the tee is much more.
We're going to debate this here in a second. Let's let Jim finish this.
In a doorstop, touching a doorstop and running down a hill. I'm sorry, I can't get on board with that.
But that was the origins of the rock. So when I was growing up, Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge was referred to as Deaf Valley, like someone is deaf, they can't hear very well. And then it evolved into Death Valley, just like Clemson. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought that was always Death Valley.
They quit that down there because it's not politically correct, and I want to apologize to all of our deaf listeners right now.
Which I'm on the verge of becoming one now, I'm just telling you. My wife says I'm already deaf. My hearing's pitiful. It's pitiful. But anyway.
Lord have mercy, we're off the rails.
Already. We're only at 5:16, by the way.
But here's the thing. I think, honest to goodness, I think Death Valley is such a cooler name. Like, I think it's a play on words. Yeah. It signifies something that's completely true. You go to that place tonight, like, you're walking out of there with your ears ringing. So, like, I think that's, in my opinion, a cooler name. I get that, they've got the battle between the two.
They're both the Tigers.
They're both, I get it. But as of right now, I'm going to have to say I agree that even though now that all I'm going to imagine when they touch that rock is that it was a doorstop.
It was for several years.
I still do think that it's hard to debate what is the best tradition, what is the best entrance. There's so many different ones. Like, obviously, I'm biased to touching the Play Like a Champion Today sign coming down the stairwell.
Florida State spear in the ground.
And I love Tennessee running through the tee. I do.
That Florida State with the spears, Jacob just said.
Yeah.
Iowa has always walked out hand in hand. They don't run; they walk collectively.
You're gonna love this. USC's got Traveler. The Traveler horse. I know you hate them
right here. I'm doing. You know how they do the horns down to Texas. USC likes to throw up the peace sign,
yeah.
And famously, Sam Hartman, after just absolutely stomping USC a couple years ago, threw it down, which was a fun time. It was a good time up at Notre Dame during that. But no, of all the different traditions, there's so many, like Bevo, the Longhorn running out, the Boomers schooner,
Ralphie, the Buffalo.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
There's
now.
so many good ones. It's hard to really say for me which one is the best because they're all so unique and relevant to each university.
And UGA is so good.
Georgia Tech's Ramblin'.
The Ramblin' Wreck,
They're
Michigan with the big blue sign. Like none of us like Michigan. Who likes Michigan, by the way?
And then you go into even like in-game stuff where Florida plays. Is it Won't Back Down?
Tom Petty, yeah.
Won't Back Down.
Yep.
I think Michigan's is really funny. The song that they play. Do y'all know what it is?
Yeah, it's like that.
Talk about Hail to the Victors?
No.
It's
like a British song, a British group or something.
Look up the name of it. It's really funny, but if you listen to the lyrics, it describes a pretty sad Michigan fan. So I think that
isn't it like a breakup song?
Yeah, it's like a breakup song. And then you think about other good in-game traditions like Georgia lighting up the stadium in the fourth quarter at night for holding up fours in the air for the
the first school that did the four fingers up. That was Alabama, and that was back when Barry Bryant in the early 70s. Alabama was the only school that did the four fingers. We're going to win the fourth quarter, and now every school does it now. But Alabama was the first one that I remember doing that.
It's Mr. Brightside by the Killers. I know the Killers.
Okay. I thought you were talking about fight songs. That's the one thing about college football or collegiate athletics altogether are the traditions. And like Between the Hedges. If you say Between the Hedges, you don't have. Everyone should know. Oh, well, that's at Sanford Stadium in Georgia. That's Between the Hedges. I love it. That's what I love about college football.
And let's be honest. Like it can drive everybody insane, but Rocky Top to a Tennessee fan has to be the sweetest thing on their ears, no matter how many times they play it. They can play it 1,000 times in a game, and it's the sweetest thing that they've ever heard.
It's the most recognizable fight song in all of college sports, and I'm saying that from a team that's arguably probably number 2 with the Victory March. Rocky Top is unique because it's not just like a band thing relevant. Like it's so unique that I'm dubbing them the number 1 fight song in all of college sports.
Do you know who dubbed Michigan the Big House?
Was that Bo Schembechler?
No. Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson did, okay.
Let me talk about Keith Jackson.
That makes sense.
He gave the nickname the Big House back, I think it was back in the 70s, and it stuck. And
one of the greatest announcers of any sport of all time, in my opinion, Keith Jackson. When I think of the Rose Bowl, he's the first person I think of.
Hey, but that's a good that'd be a good question we could ask our listeners to comment on a Facebook post. Like, what do you think is the best college football tradition out there?
I'll tell you what, even though it's a new one, the wave at Iowa, and they wave to the kids.
I love it.
That's awesome, and that's probably less than 20 years old.
The thing that I like about that is when you look at the visiting sideline, every single one of those players is partaking in it.
Yeah.
The entire stadium, both sidelines, like that. That's so special, and that's something that's way bigger than football.
Oh, Lord,
way bigger than football.
Bigger.
One thing that I like too, and Jacob, you might remember who did this, but you know how Madison, Wisconsin, up there they jump around.
Yeah.
I believe that it was I'm trying to think who the visiting team was. I was thinking it was an ACC team that came to play, but it was Oregon. That's exactly who it was. When they fully embraced jump around because they'd listened to it. It practiced the whole week before. When they did jump around, the Oregon players were all doing it, and it was a fun atmosphere. That's embracing it, having a good time. That's what sports are all about. Ooh. Real quick before we go to break. You mentioned the Death Valleys, Clemson, LSU. Mm-hmm. Big game coming up.
Yes, it is.
Big game coming up.
Yeah, and of course, Brian Kelly, he dubbed it Death Valley Junior.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about bulletin board material.
Brian Kelly is so bad about that stuff, too.
I love stuff like this, man. Get them thinking about something else besides the game. It's just a little bit more fuel for the fire. I love it. I love collegiate athletics.
So I've got a quick story here before we go to break. pertaining to Dabo Swinney and Brian Kelly. If you get on the Google machine, get on YouTube and search Dabo Swinney press conference, Brian Kelly. So one of our absolute, and when I say our, my family, my son specifically, one of his favorite country groups of all time is Florida Georgia Line. Mm-hmm. And the Florida side, the Florida Georgia Line, his name is Brian Kelly. And Brian Kelly pitched at Florida State, a big Florida State Seminole guy. We've met him. We've actually became friends with him. Awesome individual. Well, ultimately ended up transferring to Belmont and Nashville, got into the music scene after he was done playing baseball at Florida State. So he has a place down in Florida, in Grayton, Florida, right off 30A, and it's a surf post, and he does these periodic live performances, and it's basically like a backyard performance. He's got a stage. We've been. It's phenomenal. It's awesome. So plug here for Brian Kelly of formerly Florida Georgia Line. So Dabo Swinney was on vacation with his family and some friends right off 30A. A lot of people Tom Glavin's got a place down there. A lot of people do. And someone said, hey, do y'all want to go watch Brian Kelly? Brian Kelly's performing at it. He's got a surf post down here. Dabo Swinney, oblivious to Florida Georgia Line and the Brian Kelly of Florida Georgia Line, is thinking, Brian Kelly's got a surf post down here? That's kind of cool. And he legitimately was thinking that it was
Notre Dame head coach
Brian Kelly. Former head coach at Notre Dame, current LSU head coach. And this is like this past offseason.
Oh, I thought you were talking about years back.
No, this was very recent. So Dabo Swinney's like, he's performing. I didn't even know he played an instrument. Like, how cool is it? He's like, he's thinking, and he's telling to himself, he's thinking like, yeah, sure, listen. I want to go see this. Like, I'll go support him and we'll talk and hang out. Like, what a great thing. And so they end up going to the surf post, and he kind of realizes without anybody saying anything, he's like, he's looking for Brian Kelly. And so he finally says something. He's like, hey, where's Brian Kelly at? And they're like, oh, he's getting ready for the show or whatever. And somehow, and you've got to watch the video, but he realizes after he's talking to people, he's like, you guys are talking about the LSU head coach, right? And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And he completely embarrassed himself, but his press conference talking about it, he goes on for like 5 minutes. It's absolutely hilarious.
These coaches get so deep into their sport.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on around
But I thought it was cool that, listen, they're about to have this huge game, and this guy's on vacation, and he genuinely thinks LSU head coach Brian Kelly's about to do a performance, and he said, heck, let's go watch it. Let's go. That'll be fun. I thought that was pretty cool at Dabo Swinney, but check it out. Very funny. With that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, going to talk some Atlanta Braves and obviously a lot more college football as we're approaching the fall and the kickoff. We're inside of 4 weeks away, guys.
Yeah, and we've got Phil Steele coming up next week, guys.
Looking forward to it. We'll be right back here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
This is John Davis, the trade-in man for Kia of Cleveland, and I need your help. We're under construction, and I've got cars everywhere. I've got them in the grass, down the street. We need to get these cars where they belong, in your driveway. So we're rolling them out of here at whatever price it takes. Bring us any trade in any condition, and we will give you $7,000 more than Kelley Blue Book fair value for the purchase of any new Kia, Telluride, Sorrento, or Sportage. Yes, $7,000 more than your trade is worth. Are you a credit challenge car buyer? That's okay. At Kia Cleveland, our lenders will say yes to you and yes to your situation. Remember, I'll be any deal from anywhere in Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama. So if you want $7,000 more than your trade is worth, come see me, John Davis, at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where trading your car is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Looking for the dealer who's gonna give you more. Kia of Cleveland Superstore.
Offer subject to lender approval. Expires month end.
KiaofCleveland.com.
Hardees is hiring. Join the STAR team. Flexible scheduling, daily pay, free meals, 20% family discount, plus paid vacation for part-time and full-time employees. Apply in-store or online at Hardees.com today.
Hip or knee pain holding you back? There's a new reason to feel hopeful. Dr. Andrew Carlone is now part of the team at Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics in Cleveland. He brings advanced training in total hip and knee replacement, including minimally invasive techniques that get you back on your feet faster. Let Cleveland's orthopedic experts help you live your best life. Call 423-624-2696 or go to sportmed.com to book your visit now.
Not all composite decking is the same. Enjoy life's beautiful moments on an equally beautiful composite deck. Envision's products feature deep, non-repeating grains and distinct colors throughout each pour, offering a truly unique appearance unlike anything else on the market. Learn more and find inspiration for your project at Cleveland Plywood. Cleveland Plywood Company, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland.
Check your wallet. Empty? Check your bills. Overdue? Check your stress level. Maxed? Now, check into cash. Check into Cash is your one-stop money shop, and we've got everything you need. Payday loans and flex lines of credit options? Check. Quick in-store services like money orders and wire transfers? Check. Turn your unused gift cards into cash? Oh yeah, check. And yes, we cash checks. All kinds. Fast. Check that off your list. Visit checkintocash.com or check into a store to get started. The process is simple, quick, and designed to get you the help you need fast. If you've been approved, you can leave with cash in hand. We have locations in the Chattanooga area, including Cleveland and Athens. Check in, cash out, and get on with life. Check into Cash. We fund today to make a better tomorrow. Subject to state regulations, eligibility, credit check, underwriting, and approval. Rates, restrictions, and fees apply. Visit a store for details.
Do you suffer from unsightly leg veins? Are your legs turning brown or swelling? Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Do you have restless legs or leg cramps disturbing your sleep? These symptoms are signs of bad veins. Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Find more information online at milliganvein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682 and get rid of those bad veins.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
It's another beautiful Friday here in Cleveland, and our friends over at Duracell are now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 an hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one: medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com.
And welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. And one thing we want you to do, make sure download our new ESPN Cleveland 1013 app. You can go to our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com. Get on the App Store and just search ESPN Cleveland 1013. The exclusive home of ESPN Radio in Cleveland and Chattanooga is ESPN Cleveland 1013, and it's never been easier to listen. Just download the ESPN Cleveland 1013 app. So definitely excited about all the things that we have going with the app, with the website. Website looks really good, by the way.
It does.
Our guy Austin Chadwick's done a great job with that, and definitely trying to build that up. And as we're getting closer to football season, going to have a lot of information and stuff on there pertaining not only to the Falcons, the Titans, the Vols, the Bulldogs, but local high school football.
Mm-hmm.
Big time stuff there. And speaking of football, staying on track, we've been talking a little college football today. James Franklin, head coach at Penn State, continues to worry about everyone else except Penn State. Like, if there's a guy in college football right now that's a head coach that gets under my skin, there's no one more than James Franklin. He is one of the most annoying, because going into a major bowl game, getting ready to play Notre Dame last year, he was worried about what the Big Ten was doing. He was worried about what the NCAA was doing. For me, as a fan and as a player, for that matter, I want my coach focused on the task at hand. The most successful coaches don't go off on these long, opinionated, bulletin board material tangents. And James Franklin, time after time, worries about things outside of the task at hand. And it's annoying to me because he talks as if people care what he has to say.
Yeah, he's got a Mark Richt track record with a Steve Spurrier mouth, in my opinion. Like, you've got a guy that wins a lot of games but can never win the big one.
Cannot win a big game.
But
he did last year in playoffs.
Who did he beat, though?
He won a big playoff game, sure, but I'm talking about like when it comes down to the moment where they have to win a game, and so like years past where the playoffs weren't a thing, he's been stuck in this lull of like to get to the Big Ten championship or to get to the national championship, I can't win in this game, and now we're in the playoffs. Okay, he got to the playoffs, but when it comes time to get into the national championship, blown.
Well, I mean, listen, I understand that he has had his moments where and they blew a 10-point lead against Notre Dame. I mean, they did. You cannot take that. The last time we saw Penn State, they were blowing that game against Notre Dame. They had a 10-point lead, and they blew it. But he has overcome a little bit of that stigma because he did have some success in the playoffs last year. He didn't win it all, but it's not like they went 0-1.
This is my thing. They beat an SMU team who did not belong in the playoff.
But they were there.
So
again, though,
that's not a big game. It's a playoff game. I don't want to take away from the college football playoff.
That's a game that you're still supposed to win.
Yeah, you should dominate that. What was the final score of that game? You should dominate that game. And as we look here,
what the score was, but
this is my point. He continuously runs his mouth about he was bashing the Big Ten doing their media days in Vegas. Now, again, do I think Vegas is the best place to do Big Ten media days? I think there's some relevance to what he's saying, but why are you trying to piss off your commissioner? Why are you trying to put a target on yourself and your university by complaining about, it's not a lot of fun, there's not a lot of enthusiasm out here in Vegas? Listen, people move their media days. The SEC's done it, Atlanta, Hoover.
Well, they went to Dallas last year.
Yeah, so and you do that to grow your market. If there's such a lack of understanding from James Franklin, maybe before you get behind a microphone, you ask questions and you'll get the answers that kind of give you some clarification.
Well, last year at Penn State, they beat SMU 38-10, and then they beat Boise State 31-14. Not exactly murderer's row, but the fact of the matter is they went 2-1 in the postseason last year.
They did.
I'm still, again, though.
Give me that path every day of the week.
Yeah,
though.
Sure, of course.
Again, I'm going to talk eye test. Like, again, just watching football and knowing football, like, those two of those teams, like, Boise State, I guess, earned their way there. Ashton Genty, absolute stud. Glad he's on the Raiders. But not on
terrible schedule.
Not on my murderer's row of teams to beat.
Granted, they were significant favorites in both games, and they did win both games. They did have a sizable lead against Notre Dame, and Notre Dame made a heck of a comeback. Now, did Notre Dame win that game, or did Penn State blow the game? It depends on which perspective you're looking at. But at the end of the day, Penn State lost that game.
Yes.
And once again, people are going, he can't win the big game.
And as a Notre Dame fan,
fair or unfair?
As a Notre Dame fan, I'll say that win was a big win. Beating Penn State.
It's huge.
So I'm not taking complete credit. Penn State is a big-time player in the spectrum of college football. They are. But when it comes to lining up, when you've got your Big Ten schedule and you line up against the top dogs, and when I say that, I'm talking about Ohio State, Michigan. Those your last two national champions. Mm-hmm. Those are your top dogs of your conference. That's the Alabama, Georgia of your conference. They can't get it done. They can't do it. They've not been able to take that step. Just worry more internally is what I feel like, because it's constant from him. And I liked him when he was at Vanderbilt. I think he did a great job. He earned himself that Penn State job for what he was able to do at Vanderbilt.
He won 9 games at Penn State, not once but twice.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, at Vanderbilt.
What did I say?
Penn State.
Yeah, at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
He won 9 games at Vanderbilt 2 years in a row, which is remarkable.
It is.
We know how hard it is to win at Vanderbilt.
It is.
It is a very, very difficult
Alabama now knows how hard it is to win at Vanderbilt.
By the way, that game was on was on ESPN2 yesterday. I actually watched the end of it because I forgot how it ended.
Yeah, so cool.
It was awesome.
Hey, some more big sports news today. In the film industry, Happy Gilmore 2 was released today on Netflix.
Look at the shirt he's wearing.
Yeah, I've got a
good radio here. Look at the shirt he's wearing.
Yeah, I've got a Roosevelt shirt on with some images from the original Happy Gilmore. Shooter's on there, Shooter McGavin, and Happy holding his hockey stick,
got his Boston
putter.
Bruins jersey on.
That's it. Yeah, so excited about that. Definitely going to hit that up tonight, depending on how the Braves are doing. So, gonna start with the Braves game, and if it starts going south, fellas, Happy Gilmore 2 is coming on pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm probably just watching Happy Gilmore 2. I'm just gonna be real.
That's where Jacob's at. Hey, listen, Atlanta Braves excited for the Speedway Classic coming up.
Boogity, 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 amen.
And when we talk Atlanta Braves here on the drive, you know that Mayfield ice cream is part of the conversation. And when it comes to Mayfield ice cream, you'll never have a boring bite. They've got some limited edition ice creams out right now. Cherry chocolate chip and banana pudding, both inspired by traditional Southern recipes, and they are seasonal favorites. Pick some up today at your local grocery store and visit them online at mayfielddairy.com. So we're going to dive in Atlanta Braves real quick. Off yesterday, not a lot to talk about. Tonight, starting a 3-game set out in Arlington with the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers currently 53-50, third in the American League West. 7 games back in the division, but they're in the wild card mix in the AL. They're a game and a half out. First pitch tonight will be at 8:05. Joey Wentz on the rubber for the Braves. He's 2-1 with a 5.71 ERA. And just on cue, getting to run into a buzzsaw of Nathan Eovaldi, who's 7-3 with a 1.58 ERA. So tonight, things may not be great with the bats. We'll see if Eovaldi has his stuff.
Well, you got Austin Riley coming back.
And that's the big news today. Austin Riley was reinstated from the IL. Unfortunately, Nacho Alvarez Jr., a guy who I really like and think potentially could make a transition to shortstop. I don't know what you guys think about that. That he was optioned back to AAA Gwinnett so he can have consistent everyday playing time.
Yeah.
So running into Eovaldi, not a great way to start a series off of an off day. Hopefully he doesn't have his stuff tonight. We've seen it with Sale. We've seen it with Strider. Sometimes good pitchers don't have their stuff. Hope that's what happens tonight. But at this point in the season for the Atlanta Braves, I feel like it's just trying to keep the morale up as much as possible. It's looking like and sounding like we're going to see some trades about to take place. We talked about it on the show yesterday. Ozuna, a guy who was the best DH in Major League Baseball a couple of years ago, not too far removed from that. Jared Kelenic is a piece who's in AAA that could be starting in a lot of Major League outfields right now. And unfortunately, he's in a situation with the Braves where you've got Ronald Acuna, you've got Michael Harris, who's a guy that the Braves have invested a lot financially in, and they're trying to get him right back on track. So Jared Kelenic doesn't really fit in right now to this big league roster in Atlanta, but could go contribute to a lot of places. I promise you right now there's some teams out there in the NL West that would love to have Jared Kelenic on their roster.
Was he not a first-round draft pick by somebody? I can't remember who it was, but he was
the Seattle Mariners.
So he was a first-round pick, though, correct?
I'm pretty sure he was a first-rounder.
We've seen him have his moments out there. I think Kelenic's got some ability to help a team. Unfortunately for him, it's just not going to be with the Braves. But I think he'd be a valuable guy to get.
He was a first-rounder in the 2018 draft. So the New York Mets actually are who drafted him. And then he was a part of that, I believe it was the Robinson Cano trade.
That sounds right.
Yeah, with Seattle Mariners. Yeah. But yeah, he's a guy that I think the Braves could get something out of him because he still has the upside. The talent's there. It's just been the inconsistency. And one thing when you're looking at a trade market, a lot of teams think that, hey, we can fix this guy because you want to think positively of your system. Another guy that's been mentioned, Raciel Iglesias, trade rumors all around him, who really is he's pitched his way out of a closer's role, in my opinion, but a team that's dealing with some late relief injuries to their bullpen, he's a guy that could come plug in.
I mean, he still has his moments. He's still got the ability to get guys out in clutch situations. So I don't know if he's a guy you want to rely on every day, but I think he's got the ability to help a contender out. So
yeah, I mean, at this point, the Braves ultimately just need to start getting pieces and preparing for the future, in my opinion. You know, it wasn't the start that we expected after the All-Star break. I've got an interesting stat here. Since the 6 games of the All-Star break, the Braves have their relief pitchers have a 10.57 ERA in 6 games, 27 earned runs in 23 innings. No other team's bullpen is above 7.33 in that span. So trade some of these pieces, maybe go out and get some guys that could help you in the bullpen in the future, or help you in other spots in the game. You know, it's time to start focusing towards the future, I think.
Absolutely, and obviously you don't want to completely throw this season away. I know as I'm going to be attending, got a great friend who was able to get some tickets for my son and I to go to the Speedway Classic in Bristol.
Boogity, amen.
Do you know where your seats are by chance? I mean, do you know, like, are you in the outfield?
So you saw that they've released the pictures.
I saw a video, and it was awesome. Like, it looks really, really cool.
I've got to go on the map and figure out. I know that I'm about 50-some-odd rows up. So,
which is, you'll have a better sight lines from far, but you'll be able to see the whole field.
Yes, so extremely excited about the opportunity to go up to Bristol Motor Speedway. And the pictures, the renderings that have came out, and now the live pictures that have came out, they really did a great job. I kind of question the positioning of the field. Of course, the Braves taking on the Cincinnati Reds in the Speedway Classic.
Boogity, amen.
Do we know what the dimensions are, like down the lines in the power alleys, dead center field? Do we know that?
We need to look that up because
I'm curious. Because from the photos, now it could be maybe the perspective that I looked at. It looked like right field was deeper than left field, but it could have been just the camera angle that gave it that perspective. It could be it's very, very could be similar all the way around.
I've got it right here. So these are the field dimensions for the baseball field at Bristol Motor Speedway for the Speedway Classic. It's 330 feet down both lines.
Okay.
So it's a pretty symmetrical field, 400 feet to dead center, and 375 to both right and
power alleys.
Well, and so actually this says 384 feet to left center. So there's a little bit of a little bit of a dip there in left center, a little bit deeper. But listen, I'm excited to go see something so unique. Of course, they're trying to break the attendance record at a Major League Baseball game, which currently the Dodgers and Dodger Stadium hold.
115,300 against the Red Sox in 2008. And the good thing about this is that they've scheduled this for Saturday. There's not a game scheduled for Sunday, and they did that on purpose. If the game, for whatever reason, were to get rained out, they can still play it on Sunday to get that game, because this is the last time the Reds and Braves are playing.
Yeah.
And they want to break that record, and by Georgia, they're going to give themselves 2 dates to do it.
And that is smart planning, because you pour a lot of money into building that facility.
They want to get at least a game in there.
Oh, for sure.
In my opinion, I don't think it would have been a bad idea to take that series and just say, hey, both of you are forfeiting a home game in this series, and do 2 games there.
Absolutely. I agree.
I kind of wish they would have done that, but from the standpoint of being a Braves fan right now, it's a tough time. Like, no one's excited about Braves baseball right now. You're for the first time in several years, you're not in the mix for the playoffs, but this is something to be excited about, and I do hope that the Braves are still, as we're about a week out, I hope we're putting a product on the field that we can be excited for this game. It can be a highlight of this season. Got to host the All-Star game. It's been a great season for the Braves as far as big moments. We've seen some great things, but you don't want to roll out there with some guys that should be playing in the minor leagues because you've traded 3 guys.
You weren't here. I got to get your comment on the throw.
Oh,
hey, listen, Ronald Acuna Jr.
All you have to do is say the throw. We all know what we're talking about.
Unbelievable. So Ichiro Suzuki is the only other person that I can really that I have seen and was watching when it happened. Ichiro Suzuki's the only other person that I can really remember. I know Mookie Betts had one a couple of years ago that was pretty impressive, but just the velocity, I don't know what the speed was on that, what his velocity was, But he threw that thing on a rope, man. That was insane to me.
On the fly to the third baseman, just a perfect throw. And we gave credit to the third baseman. He didn't tip it off that he was about to catch it.
Oh, he sold it. Yeah.
He caught it and tagged the guy. And I still put a lot of blame on the Yankees third base coach.
Yeah.
He's got to do a
Give
better
him heads
job.
up. But
You've got to do a better job.
The third baseman on that play, Nacho Alvarez.
That's right.
Nacho is a guy I think he's got a big future with the Atlanta Braves. And hopefully, maybe if we can't make something happen at shortstop, maybe he's our shortstop of the future.
Is that the Braves' best highlight for 2025 thus far?
It's one of them, no doubt.
I think it's one of them for sure. I mean, from another
or the first pitch home run that
was pretty
Acuna
cool.
did.
Yeah, I also think the first scoring from first from Acuna was just unreal.
That was this past week too.
He's a 5-tool player.
Yeah.
He's in the conversation for an MVP. It's a shame that the Braves aren't in the mix a little bit more because I think that carries some weight and some enthusiasm and some excitement behind getting a guy in an MVP race because he contributes to getting your team in the playoffs and all that. But the season he's had, which has been an abbreviated season, is as good as anybody.
You think about that. The top three plays of the Atlanta Braves this year, the throw by Acuna, the first pitch home run back for Acuna, and the first to home on that hit this past week by Acuna. I mean, it's incredible. This guy is so good.
And don't forget, too, Acuna chewing his bubble gum.
Yeah.
That's a top play. Anything that guy does is considered a top play.
Calling out a Kilnick, right?
Yeah, I tell you what, man, that's wild.
Got to throw that one out there.
Hey, before we go to break, I had a loss in the sports world yesterday. Hulk Hogan, 71, passed away from cardiac arrest. Those of you remember Hulkamania, Hollywood Hogan when he was the bad guy and all that stuff. Again, a guy who found Jesus Christ a little over a year ago. So a big loss to our friends and followers of the professional wrestling world, the movie world. He was in Rocky. I hated to hear the loss of Hulk Hogan.
You talk about finding Christ, that's the ultimate better late than never.
Absolutely.
That's the ultimate better
Absolutely.
late than never. Yeah, for
so,
sure.
hey, with that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, transitioning back over to football. Plenty to talk about there right here on The Drive on ESPN Cleveland.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
This is John Davis, the trade-in man for Kia of Cleveland, and I need your help. We're under construction, and I've got cars everywhere. I've got them in the grass, down the street. We need to get these cars where they belong, in your driveway. So we're rolling them out of here at whatever price it takes. Bring us any trade in any condition, and we will give you $7,000 more than Kelley Blue Book fair value toward the purchase of any new Kia, Telluride, Sorrento, or Sportage. Yes, $7,000 more than your trade is worth. Are you a credit challenge car buyer? That's okay. At Kia Cleveland, our lenders will say yes to you and yes to your situation. Remember, I'll be any deal from anywhere in Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama. So if you want $7,000 more than your trade is worth, come see me, John Davis, at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where trading your car is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Looking for the dealer who's gonna give you more. Kia of Cleveland Superstore.
Offer subject to lender approval. Expires month end.
KiaofCleveland.com.
When you're craving serious burger goodness, head to Hardees for the all-new barbecued pulled pork Frisco burger. A charbroiled, quarter-pound, 100% Angus beef patty, topped with 16 hours slow-smoked barbecued pulled pork on toasted sourdough. Only for a limited time at Hardees. Get a free pulled pork Frisco burger when you download the app and join My Rewards. See app for terms.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking. By you. Donate at V.org, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Don Ledford Chevrolet's summer upgrade sales event is going on now to the end of July. You'll get tremendous discounts and factory rebates on their entire inventory of Chevrolet pickups and SUVs. Listen to these two great purchase deals. Find stock number 26002. A 2026 Chevrolet Equinox. 1LT SUV model with an MSRP of $34,335 for just $28,175. That's over $2,000 in savings on a new 2026 model. Take home stock number 25050. A 2025 Silverado 1500 LT 4x4 Crew Cab with the All-Star and Z71 packages that has an MSRP of $63,720 for only $52,355. That's over $11,300 in savings, or 18% off on a truck that you don't want to miss. Special leasing options available as well. Come in today and save big. Don Ledford Chevrolet, Northley Highway, Cleveland. DonLedford.com for details and a trade assistance coupon. Don Ledford Chevrolet, where they say yes. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Wholesale prices include qualifying rebate, benefit plus tax, tag, and title, and dealer fee of $649. Must take delivery by July 31st, 2025.
ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is powered by Duracell.
Cleveland Tire Center for over 45 years with the best name in tires: Bridgestone, Firestone, Goodyear, and Michelin. Northley Highway, Cleveland. Cleveland Tire Center, where the name says it all.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Appreciate everybody, no matter how you're listening, if it's on the radio, ESPN Cleveland 101.3 FM, or if it's on our new ESPN Cleveland 101.3 app. Always thankful to have our listeners here with us, and look forward to you guys interacting with us some on our Facebook page. Jacob had mentioned, you know, we need to throw a couple polls out there. What are some of the best traditions in college football? We want to hear what you guys think. Also, any topics that you guys want to talk about, all you got to do, text us to the Volunteer Ridipest text line, 423-749-1013. But I want to dive into, it seems like it's been a few weeks since we've talked about this young man, Nico Iamaleava.
Mm-hmm. I know where you're going.
Throwing his name back out there, made his first public appearance at Big Ten Media Days. And the headline on BigESPN.com is, Iamaleava, UCLA transfer driven by family, not NIL deal. So,
and every Tennessee fan throwing up their middle finger when they hear that. Yes, they are. You know it.
And listen, the Iamaleava family has already said that Tennessee wasn't giving them offensive weapons that they wanted him to have around them. Like, you can't keep throwing out all these different angles and expect any of them to be taken seriously.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. That is a perfect headline. It's a perfect headline. He was driven by family to make a really, really, really bad decision.
That is true.
And went back to California to make a whole lot less money. I mean, honestly, like, he was driven by his dad to make a bad decision, and now we're sitting here, and so I'm all right with that headline. It's not, you know, what you immediately think of, but if you dissect that a little bit, like that's true.
It's kind of accurate.
Yeah.
And you know, you hear this stuff, and you say, "Oh, this guy's homesick. He wanted to go home." Okay, that's fine. You know, guess what? Assuming he's good enough to play at the next level, you don't get that choice. They draft you. You go wherever the heck you get drafted, and if you don't like it, then that's tough luck, because you're not guaranteed to be playing for the Los Angeles Rams or the Los Angeles Chargers.
Unless you're Eli Manning.
That's true.
You're right. You're right there.
So this was Nico's statement at Big Ten Media Days. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. My driving factor to come back home was my family, and I hope every Tennessee fan understands that. And he also went on to say, it was just a lot of drama, but man, I'm excited to be at UCLA.
Well, of course he's going to say that.
And that's the politically correct thing to say, but for his dad to come out and say Tennessee, for his dad, it was reported that his dad had conversations with Josh Heupel and the coaching staff, telling them that they needed to add more pieces around him on the offense.
Kirk Herbstreit said that.
So, yeah, that's right. That's where I had heard it. So Kirk Herbstreit, who, listen, if there's a guy that knows what's going on in college football,
he's connected.
It's him. And the coaches talk to him. He's respected, and he's not a fake news guy. Kirk Herbstreit is not.
He's not.
So for his dad to have the comfort level to go to your kids' coaches and say that, like, as a parent, I can't imagine doing that at the youth level with my kids, let alone you're talking to some of the most qualified coaches in college football, and you're going to go tell them what they need to do like they're not trying to make their team better. That just shows me how delusional this entire family is. And when I say the entire family, the Iamaleava family, they're out of their minds.
Little bro, too.
Yes,
I mean,
Madden included.
Yeah, left Arkansas, stirred up some drama there. You know, I'll say this: if the NIL has done one thing, it's given us a lot to talk about and given us a lot of stories to break. So
now you weren't here last week, so I want to get your opinion on this. And Jacob and we threw this out. I was playing devil's advocate. Okay, I don't think this is going to happen. What would be your opinion? Let's say UCLA has a really good year, and let's say they go 9-3, and Nico Iamaleava just has a tremendous season, and you pretty much could put it on his shoulders that this is the reason UCLA is having such a good season. It's because he's playing so well. And then on the other hand, Tennessee has maybe they end up starting 3 different guys at quarterback because none of them is playing well, and they end up like 6-6. What do you feel like the fan base would be at that point? I think the Tennessee fan base.
I think naturally, when you're going through highs and lows and a transitional period, I think naturally the gut reaction is to be frustrated. I think they're going to be frustrated if Nico has any success. I do want to say this. Tennessee, Nico, I was never sold on him. Now, he's an athlete. He does some good things, but he made a lot of bad decisions.
Especially against the better opponents.
Yes, he made a lot of bad decisions. So I never viewed him as a recruit, one of the best out there. But once we got the Nico product on the field up in Knoxville, I questioned a lot of things. I didn't feel like Tennessee was rolling Johnny Manziel out there. I didn't feel like they were rolling Tim Tebow out there.
Wasn't he the number 2 quarterback behind Arch Manning, if I'm not mistaken, in that class? I think he was number 2.
And I think Tennessee is better off. I've said this. Now, I'm not saying they have the answer right now. I think potentially, is it Merklinger? I think he's got the potential.
Well, McIntyre's
the freshman.
From
That's right.
McIntyre.
Yeah,
he's the real future.
Yes, I think he's your long-term guy, and they're going to work him in gradually. But it's a shame Tennessee's having to deal with this. But to answer your question, I think it's going to be difficult for UCLA to win 9 games with Nico. I don't think they're going to win 8 personally.
And like I said, and this would be the worst case scenario for Tennessee fans. I'm saying if he has a great season and he leads UCLA to a surprising 9-3 season, and then Tennessee struggles, that would be the worst case scenario for Tennessee fans because nobody believes that's what's going to happen. I don't believe that's what's going to happen. I'm just sitting here saying, what if? Ooh, that would be. I tell you what, it'd be good for us all having this show.
Yeah, a lot to talk about, no doubt about it.
Would.
But hey, I'll say this: I think Tennessee is going to have a better season than a lot of people predict. But what we're going to see here in the very near future, just weeks away from the kickoff of college football season. But with that, it's been a week, fellas. Glad to be back with you guys.
Hey, before we go off, we are covering NASCAR this weekend.
That's right.
The Pennzoil 250 on Saturday is at 2 o'clock, and then it's at 4:30, and then the Cup Series race, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Brickyard 400, will be at 2 p.m. So we're excited to cover some NASCAR.
Boogity, boogity, boogity.
You knew that was coming.
He just had to push that button one more time. Hey, it's time for us to go. Appreciate you guys listening to The Drive. Be sure to download that ESPN Cleveland app, and we'll be with you guys next week. Have a great day, everybody.
Welcome back to The Drive. It's time for a Don Ledford of Cleveland traffic update on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Don Ledford Chevrolet Buick GMC, located on North Lee Highway in Cleveland. Or visit donledford.com for details. Don Ledford, where we say yes. It's on-time traffic with Commander Chuck.
Good afternoon. We've had several accidents in Lookout Valley that's been cleared. 24 East near Browns Ferry earlier jammed it up pretty good all the way back to the 59 split on 24 trying to get through Lookout Valley this afternoon. Exercise some patience. Definitely going to need it. Watch for radar over the weekend. 75 over here at Shallowford. Happy Hemp Pharmacy now open at their new location on Cummings Highway in Lookout Valley. They're right there next to the Walmart. Go see them this weekend at Happy Hemp Pharmacy. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
From the Alon Planning Partners Weather Center, here's your forecast on ESPN Cleveland 1013. Visit them online at alonplanning.com or give them a call at 423-315-1441.
Happy Friday to you, Tennessee Valley. It's going to be another hot and humid day with temperatures climbing into the low 90s, and the heat index could be as high as 100 degrees. Now, there will be the chance of a few spotty showers this afternoon, but most of us stay dry tonight. Overnight lows in the low to mid 70s with